Hi, my name is Carlisle Mercado, and I am a freelance illustrator. I have been doing illustration for about 5 years on and off, and full time for about a year now. My path was pretty straightforward with a lot of kind of um, interesting things along the way. So I did go to school for art. I started out in art education and graduated with, I ended up dropping the education side and graduated with a studio art degree. Um, I actually interned my senior year at a very small boutique that allowed me to kind of take my creative skills a different direction, a more three-dimensional direction, and apply them to the visual side of retail, merchandising, store display, things like that. I loved it, and I thought that that was actually the direction I wanted to go career-wise. My dream at that point was to become a buyer for a major retail company, and so I started to pursue retail, kind of dove headfirst all the way in, did a lot of accompanying owners on buying trips, learning the ins and outs of seasonal buying, merchandising, how to plan store displays and execute them well. And I actually eventually moved into a role where I was the display coordinator and buyer for a small company. I designed their storefront for them. We opened a store. I was in charge of buying all of the product and really loved it. It was really exciting. I was busy. I got to see a lot of amazing, awesome products created by different companies and different people. And so I really, really enjoyed it. But at the same time, I was getting all of these commission inquiries and doing my illustrations on the side and kind of getting more into that through the inspiration I was gaining from all of these different products I was seeing. I was just on the side constantly illustrating and using Instagram to kind of put my illustrations out into the world, and was slowly getting commission inquiries and having projects that people were requesting me to do, and very slowly started to not love going into my day job, because I would sit there and think about these other projects that I was more excited about, or I would be in my job and be doing something and be reminded of a project that I had to go home to, and it just kind of made me want to get past the day-to-day and get home to what I was more excited about, and that was illustration. And I started to recognize that and started to kind of give that a little bit more of my attention. And so I gradually worked my way out of my retail role, and went into illustrating full-time as of a year ago. And that's what I have been doing. It's been so exciting. The role and the skills required there are a lot of skills required. There are a lot of different roles that you can pursue as an illustrator. I would say that the biggest thing to consider is that our world is digital. And so as a classically trained studio artist, I did not have any digital skills. And I think that was something that definitely should have been a part of my degree, but it just wasn't. And so I actually taught myself all of the Adobe products via YouTube tutorials and Skillshare. There's so many resources out there to teach these different courses, and so that was kind of something that I taught myself, pursued, put the time in, the energy, because I knew that if I wanted to make this a career, I was going to need to know how to do digital illustration. So an average day in my job looks different. every day, which is what's so fun about my job. But I would say that an average day for me is actually setting block hours for myself, and creating a couple of blocks where I actually have creative time. And that's so important because as I am expanding my own creative um, library of inspiration and just different things, skills, I am then improving and growing the area for which I'm able to apply those and the jobs that I'm actually able to take on. And so I do creative blocks in the morning, and then I do projects in the afternoon with an admin hour blocked out as well. It's if I have coffees or meetings, I try to schedule those all on one day so that I'm not running out every day to try to meet these meetings, because then it's really hard to get back home and to get back into the block hours. My studio is in my home. And I think that looks different for different people. I think for right now, that's what I have, but I think the importance of working around people and having the busyness and motivation of other people in turn motivate you is really important. So that's something that I'm actually looking for, is a studio space. I would say the best part of my job, again, is probably having the flexibility and the freedom to be able to make my days look different so that I don't get stuck in kind of a mundane rut or become burnt out. It's really actually awesome to get to have my work be my play. The thing that I'm the most passionate about is actually what I get to make money with. And I think that that's a pretty rare thing. I think a lot of people, their jobs are not always the most exciting. And so I love that I get to have kind of an exciting job, something I'm passionate about again. The hardest part is probably the same thing, that my work is my play, and it's often hard to know when to say no, know when to end my day, but I think it's all a balance. My long-term career goals, I would love to be in a kind of national publication like the New Yorker or, Bon Appetit magazine. I love food illustration, so having illustrations in one of those two would be amazing. I would love to have kind of a rhythm down for how I accept jobs and what I say no to. I think that's also a hard balance to find. I would say advice for finding a career path that you love. Don't be afraid of opportunity. Don't be afraid if something drops in your lap that you are excited about that might look completely different than what you're doing. And I would say go for it. Go for it and see what happens. And don't be afraid to stop if you are finding yourself in a place where you're not excited about what you're doing, and there's a better opportunity around the corner. I think that not burning bridges is very important. We are all human, and so understanding that your employers are human, I think will get you really far if you can keep those relationships and use those people as stepping stones and building blocks to where you want to go. Advice for an interview, I would say to be easy on yourself and understand that nerves and panic are real, and that everybody experiences them, and they're just normal. And if you are prepared, that will help a lot. So be prepared going into an interview, but don't be hard on yourself if you get nervous. I think that the biggest things that I could just offer as advice are go for it, try something new, don't be afraid of failure. I was actually fired in college, which led me to a point where I was determined to work hard and to be better, and and just do what you want to do, because ultimately life is full of opportunity and full of different paths, and it's going to look different for everyone. So